Maintenance Center open 7:30 a.m. till 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. More information on Colville Toyota's vehicle inventory and services is available at colvilletoyota.com. A small-town dealership with a big heart.
Programming on KCHW is supported by Parkview Senior Living in Colville, Washington. Parkview offers assisted living services for seniors, including care planning, help with daily routines, and meals served in the community dining room. Parkview Senior Living is located at 240 South Silky Road in Colville. Additional information is available at parkviewsl.com or by phone at 509-684-5677. Thank you, Parkview Senior Living, for your support of KCHW 102.7.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
And good evening and welcome to About the Arts. This is the monthly program on the first Wednesday before the Art Walk, where we feature Tim Nielson from the Trails End Gallery and the artist from this month's Art Walk. Good evening, Tim. Good afternoon, evening. It feels like evening.
Good afternoon, Chuck.
Yeah. It's that daylight savings time. It feels a little more evening-y than it really is.
Sure does, especially with the clouds.
I know, right? So we have with us a couple of very special guests today. We have Barbara Safranek and our other special guest, Melissa Cole, Melissa, you've been on with us before.
I have.
Very, very, very excited to have you back. And you guys are bringing something really special this time around. I think everybody's kind of excited about it. There's a buzz. So why don't we just get right into it? Let's start with you, Barbara, and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your art style and what you're bringing to Chewelah.
Well, my name's Barbara Safranek, and I call myself a sewist. I actually design landscapes for my bread and butter, but about 5 years ago, I became enamored of a particular type of fabric called Dutch wax prints. And they're very vivid, bright, and bold prints. And I just fell in love with them, started collecting a few, and then figuring out how to make them into something that people would wear in the Northwest. They're really designed for the African market, and that's not where we are. And so I started making one coat and just loved the possibilities and the opportunities and just went from there. So I've made probably over 100 coats in the last 5 years, and each one is unique. Each one, I order 6 yards of a certain fabric, and I make maybe one or maybe 2 coats out of that, and then move on to the next.
Can I get you just a little closer to that mic?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, bud. Yeah, that's fantastic, and they're gorgeous.
Thank you.
So you started this how long ago did you say again?
I would say 5 or 6 years ago.
5 or 6 years ago. And what exactly was it that made you sort of switch? I know you were saying that you became interested in it, but what was there something that happened?
I haven't had to choose because I still do landscape design, but I can't tell you exactly what it was, but at some point I got the bug. I think I saw the prints maybe in some ethnic clothing at Anthropology that sort of sparked my curiosity about them, and I was looking for ready-made clothing in these prints, couldn't find anything, and stumbled across fabric for sale online. And so, it's very bold, wild fabric, and I was really a little bit nervous about it, but I took the plunge and I ordered my first print and made my first coat. It has sold, so I don't have it anymore, but it was gorgeous, and I loved it, and I loved the challenge of matching the print. I was a little bit nervous about wearing it because when you wear one of these coats, people ask you about it.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you're an introvert, it takes a little leap of faith, to go out and start talking about yourself to complete strangers. But yeah, so it just one thing led to another.
So the fabrics, they're your design, they're your prints.
No, they're not.
Okay.
The fabrics are designed by various companies throughout the world. The premier designer of Dutch wax fabrics is Vlisco in the Netherlands. And they invented this process of wax resist printing, kind of like batik, which is a hand process. They actually invented it in the 1800s. They were hoping that they could compete with Indonesian batiks. And turns out the Indonesians didn't like the machine-made fabric, and so it went to some Dutch colonies in West Africa, and that's where it took off and became known also as African prints.
Huh. Outstanding. So did you have any kind of experience using textiles or sewing before any of this?
You know, as a child, I learned to sew. My mother was an impeccable seamstress. I named my brand Francie King after my mother. And she got me started. As I got older, I got too picky, and she said, here, I think you need to learn to do this yourself. And so I started sewing my own clothes, and in those days, you had home ec in school, and I got some sewing instruction in school. And the things I've done with my coats in the last 6 years are beyond anything I did back then, for sure.
I can imagine.
But you learn whatever you need to know as you go, and you can learn just about anything on YouTube these days.
Outstanding. That's awesome. So do you ever dive into other types of clothing, you know, hats, pants, that kind of stuff? Or
You know, I have made pants and dresses and skirts. I don't think I've made a hat.
Yeah.
But I kind of settled on coats because I like to mix fabrics. I like to use especially menswear wools. They're just a perfect match of weight to the cottons. And they add kind of a grounding, subdued counterbalance to the bright, wild Dutch wax prints. So I love combining fabrics, and I find that coats give me the most opportunity to use a lot of different fabrics and kind of sort of create a unique combination.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, so Melissa, let's go ahead and kind of ask you the same question. Let's tell us a little bit about your background and
Sure.
and what we're going to see from you tomorrow night.
I just wanted to add one more thing about Barbara, and that is she actually, while everyone else was making sourdough bread during COVID, this is kind of what she came up with the coats. And so it was during that time period that she got started. And I think that's just an amazing project.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wasn't making sourdough, but I sure did
I
consume a lot.
My background is in zoology and marine ecology, and I have been able to show at Tim's Gallery before. So I was in the Peace Corps and worked in forestry, environmental education, and then I became a dive master in the Virgin Islands and worked as a naturalist guide in Mexico, a bilingual guide taking people out to see the gray whales, and that's where I met my husband. So I had always loved art and just did it for fun. I have a lot of my family creates artwork, my mom's side and my father's side, so I just figured I would continue to be a naturalist guide and just make art on the side. But when I got married and moved to Spokane, I had more free time to paint, and I really got into it, and my husband really encouraged me, and so it became a business. I had to buy Art Marketing 101 because I didn't know what I was doing. I still have that book, and it really helped me figure out, how to go through contracts and get into galleries, and I just started from the get-go. I've been doing it for almost 30 years now, which is just crazy, but I really was inspired by living overseas in India and Hong Kong and London. My father was a pilot, and so a lot of my designs come from fabrics also, and textiles and pottery and silks and things that I saw. I grew up in India, and so all of the sari material and things that you see there became entrenched into my own artwork, and so I was very attracted to Barbara's coats as usual because it was another beautiful, thing, and so nice to be able to wear them. So it's been exciting for me to collaborate with her on this amazing exhibition that we're going to have.
That's incredible. So, Tim, why don't you explain a little bit about what this exhibition is going to be and what people are going to see there?
Well, actually, I think I will defer to them.
Okay.
Because I'll back up here a little bit. When, must have been 10 months, a year ago.
That was a little over a year ago.
Okay. That, we started talking about, I want another show, kind of thing. And I generally schedule the shows really at least a year out, year to a year and a half. And so, and we've shown Melissa 2 times before, and both shows were very successure.
They were.
Yeah. And I would say, actually, she's probably our biggest selling artist.
Wow.
We're coming up on 10 years. In January, it'll be our 10th anniversary.
Wow.
Our first show was in January of 2016. So anyway,
Well,
it was time for another show.
I don't know about nationally, but I know in this area anyway, Melissa Cole is kind of a household name when it comes to art. So.
Well, it's helped because I've done a lot of public works of art too,
Yeah.
and so people see some of the larger pieces as well. But Chihuahua was a big surprise to me. I did it more of as a favor to someone because they asked me to come and show it in Chihuahua. But I met Tim, and the gallery was just beautiful. That was the smaller gallery, and now this one is just unbelievable. So showing with him has just been a dream.
That's how
amazing.
we get you.
We've
You do it
grown
as a favor.
together.
We have grown
Seriously.
together.
And so when we talked about the show, it was like not this last summer, but the summer prior. She goes, "Ooh, what if we get Barbara and have a fashion show too?" And I said, "Awesome, yeah." And she asked her, and she got back to me, I think, within a day, and she said yes.
Are you kidding?
know.
So I mean, I'm immediately, my mind's just kind of going, "Oh, how do I do the?" I'm already going through the logistics, and this show really has me excited. I woke up at 3 this morning, and I needed the sleep, but my mind was running through all the things I needed to do,
Yeah.
to just the behind the scenes and the obvious stuff.
Right.
To make, I didn't have my gallery owner 101 book in front of me, so
Do you need another copy?
I've been winging it, really, and so it's fun, and it was fun because I really got Nandis involved, my wife, and she's one of the models. But to talk to people, I said, okay, here's your job is to get the models, be part of that. And so it's been really fun as a collaborative effort with her as well. And it was really fun. Last Sunday, they showed up with all the goods, and the 4 of us were there, just industrious. It was like a hive of activity, getting everything up and installed and ready. Okay, we got to hang hooks from the ceiling, and we're kind of figuring this out as we go. I knew that I just kind of had to stand back and say, what do you need me to do? Because they had a vision of what they wanted, and so I'm just a facilitator in that sense.
Do you guys need snacks?
We have snacks. We have snacks.
Well, see, you're saying what can I do, and they probably sent you for snacks.
No. The snacks were provided. We had our.
He thought of that in advance.
They should talk about this because they did a rehearsal last night, and it was so much fun to be on the viewer side of that.
Oh yeah.
And my hat's off to the chamber. The chamber loaned us a PA system, and then which we don't need it for that long, but
Right.
it'd be nice to carry that sound throughout the gallery.
Yeah.
Get people's attention. And then Kylie helped us with a little IT glitch to get the music going for the runway show. That was good.
Good.
That care of. And then, everybody's been helping. And then Tiffany and Brian will be there from the chamber, and Chloe. And they're going to videotape the show.
Yeah. That's what I talked to Tiffany this morning on the morning show, and she was talking about it.
Yeah, which is going to be great. And they absolutely make that available to the artists to use personally. There's no strings or anything like that. It should be really fun.
You'll be seeing it on Instagram. That's right.
Oh,
There
yeah,
you go.
I'm sure. So now you're doing the fabric. You're doing the painting. Is this did you guys work together on this, or did you send her? I know, obviously you collaborated, but did you send her photos of the painting of the fabrics to do the paintings? Or
Yeah, swatches and photographs, and
We're good friends, and we actually have been traveling a lot of places together. And so we often take Barbara's coats with us and model in front of tiles in Turkey. And we've been all over the place traveling, which has been super fun and inspirational for both of us. So we had actually just been to Paris and saw a really amazing show, Iris Van Herpen, and it was in a museum. And I just was blown away by that show. And I said, we need to get your work into a gallery or museum like that. And so I had a vision coming back from that trip to talk to Tim about it, because I just thought it would be really neat to have a collaboration like that. And I wasn't exactly sure how it would go, but we worked it out so that I've used a lot of the designs that are in the Dutch wax fabric that Barbara uses in her coats as my backgrounds in some of the paintings. And then also some of my paintings have been printed onto fabric, and she's used those in her coats. And so it's just a really nice mix of the two mediums together. We've had a blast putting it into a show like this.
That's incredible. I love that. And so these are all the art pieces. They're original for the show. Are the coats original for this show too?
Most of them are.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the pieces we have. I know you guys have this up on your screen, so I'm hoping you can see this. Let's start here with this one. Unfortunately for you guys, I can't zoom in. The people out there watching, they can see a little better than you guys can. So hopefully this is good enough on your screen to be able to tell what it is.
Well, this is my short ruffle coat. It has a beautiful raglan sleeve that terminates in a big ruffle around the wrist. It's kind of a 3/4 length sleeve and a 3/4 length jacket. It's very full and very fun, and the Dutch wax print used here, you can see with the gold background and the pattern, is used at the bottom of the sleeve and the bottom of the jacket. The top of the jacket, of the body of the jacket, is covered with a lace overlay. I love to find laces that have large openings so you can see bits of the fabric through the lace. So it gives it a whole nother look, but it still coordinates with the print.
Yeah.
And then I used that print again in the collar. And then I used a beautiful, glossy, shiny taffeta, stretched taffeta at the top of the sleeves. And in the lining of the coat, I put a ruffle on the bottom that hangs out below in that taffeta and kind of coordinates and pulls it all together.
Yeah, nice.
So this was the first coat that I saw that she created for this show, and it really helped me figure out how I was going to match my paintings to her artwork. And so you can see that it's a smaller painting. It's down below that one, and it has the same design that's in the Dutch wax fabric. It's the flower in it, and then I used the similar colors in the painting. And so it started to really come to life with that, because the paintings almost felt like each one had its own characteristic and feel for it. And so that really helped me figure out what type of painting to create that would go along with the coat.
Outstanding. So let's go ahead and take a look at this other one here. Keep in mind that people listening on the radio can't see the pictures. You guys are doing a wonderful job describing them, though, so I appreciate that. Okay, so we've got here, tell us what we got here.
This is my favorite combination. I love that painting of Melissa's with is that koi or salmon?
They're trout, actually.
Trout. And the background is this very highly colorful and detailed representation of the fabric, which you can see in the coat. It's another ruffle coat, a 3/4 length coat with the print on the front of the coat and at the bottom of the sleeves, and then a glossy, shiny taffeta in navy on the top of the sleeves. This particular Dutch wax has a metallic overlay on the fabric that really gives it a beautiful sheen, a little extra dimension. And Melissa put some gold accents in her painting, and they just work together so beautifully. I wish I could make it required that whoever buys the painting has to buy the coat too.
Great idea.
You don't have a package that way, Tim?
Oh, yeah.
Because that would be great to see that actually as the display in somebody's home, and then they take the jacket off and wear it out and then go hang the jacket up next to the painting.
Well, it's funny. Just today, I mean, one of my jewelry clients that I do work for. I was telling her what I was doing, so I sent her pictures.
Yeah.
And so I had to call her for something else. I finished some jobs. I needed a label, to ship the stuff to them.
Yeah.
And she goes, there's a coat that I like. And then, it was this toucan with heels. It's a bird with heels on. It's really, really clever. And anyway, and then so she had seen it from behind. So I took a picture and texted it to her. We were on her business line, so she had her phone.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Wow, whoa, what? And how much is the painting?" And she goes, "And how much is the coat?" And I told her, and she goes, "You're kidding me." She goes, "Wow." And so she goes, "I've been talking about this all morning after you sent me those pictures because." She goes, I had 2 friends come in that were looking for more kind of unique one-offs and stuff on Poshmark or something like that. And she goes, you need to look on Trails End Gallery and see what these artists are creating.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was really funny. So she goes, painting, coat, maybe I have to have both. But we'll see.
So then she came in and bought them all.
No, she's in Colorado. But it'll be interesting to see what happens.
You take cards over the phone, right?
Of course I do.
Yeah, see, there you go. Online?
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at something else we have here. Let's see, where are we? Make sure I don't do the same one again. There we go. Ooh, I love that. So is that like almost like a, kind of gives off Lady in the Water vibes? What do we have going on here?
So, yes, this one is called Magnolia Rising, and I painted it in the spring. I did both of these in the spring. So she's rising out of almost like a nightmare. There are all kinds of creepy crawlies and creatures and things and rising up into the sky. And I just love it when you come out of winter and the first thing that you see are these beautiful magnolia buds. They almost look like ladies with all of the different petals, like a skirt. And so she's rising up into it out of the darkness of winter and into the spring. And same with the birds next to it. I've got the swallows and the wisteria, and they're just swimming back and forth through the wisteria. And the background in that painting almost looks like a web of blue and purple, and it comes from one of the designs that Barbara uses in her fabric on her coats.
Outstanding. And so the fabric on the jacket up above there, that purple fabric looks so luxurious. I just
that's another one of the Dutch wax prints with a glittery gold overlay on the fabric.
Okay.
And then I combined it. It's a one-armed cape. So you put your arm in that deep plum velvet, and then you wrap the cape around and fasten it. So one arm is free, one arm's in a sleeve. But I just wanted to say a lot of the Dutch wax prints have a botanical theme, and that theme runs through Melissa's work too. These paintings and that coat aren't specifically related, except by color and just vitality, I think.
Outstanding. So Melissa, I want to ask a little bit. Your techniques. Are you using acrylic, oil?
I am. I use acrylic, and I use a lot of texture in my work, and so I often build up the textures before I even put the paint on it. And because so many of my public works of art are glass mosaic, I started including bits of glass and stone and pieces within my paintings, and so some of them are pretty dimensional, and they change as the light changes throughout the house or wherever you hang them. So that's one part of painting that I really have enjoyed.
Now, I know it's sort of on the background there, you mentioned that your background that you had on there. Do you use any kind of like wax removal techniques, or is it pretty much you just paint all those lines
No,
by hand?
I actually paint all those lines. I use India ink and a very fine paintbrush, and I paint around everything. And I paint multiple lines around things so that it gives it the feel of a vibration almost. And so rather than one solid line, I like giving it a feeling of movement. And
Well, because she mentioned the Dutch
Dutch wax.
Dutch wax. It sort of has that batik sort of origins of batik, and the background of that painting actually kind of gives off like a batik sort of vibe.
It's
So that's
true.
kind of why I was asking about the.
Definitely, and I love batiks myself, and I collected actually some of the Dutch wax fabrics when I've traveled to Africa, and I never knew what to do with them. So it was great to have someone who could make them into some clothes for me. But I've been attracted to batiks, I think, almost my whole life, and so that is something I kind of strive to capture in my paintings.
Yeah. So, and I want to ask too, Tim. So I was talking with you about this the other day. This is the first time the gallery has ever had a fashion show, correct?
Yeah.
And did you ever in a million years think you'd be doing a fashion show there? You probably did.
Oh, I thought about it once when I saw that Barbara had a show over at the Art Spirit Gallery in Coeur d'Alene. I just thought, well, that would be cool. I just kind of banked it, but as well, that's interesting. How would you pull that off? Blah blah blah, and then when Melissa was like, "Yay, yes," I know we can make this work. I got on and I sat and kind of moved around the gallery physically, where how many people can we have for this? You don't want it too sparse.
Right.
You want it, but you don't want it unsafe either.
Or uncomfortable.
I went.
Yeah.
I talked to the vice fire chief, and we talked about a number that he thought would work for the total deal, and because he's been into the gallery a lot.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we'll see tonight.
So we've been telling people to RSVP if they want a seat in there because seating is limited. Do you have all those seats full?
It's full.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all done.
Did I get one of those seats?
What's that?
Did I get a seat? I didn't specifically say I wanted.
You didn't.
I know that's okay. I'm sorry.
The seats are full, but it's not going to take too long for us to run through it, and then the gallery is open at 6 o'clock.
The doors will
and
be
it's
open
free.
at 6,
Yeah.
probably.
I'll just be
And
there on
it'll
the
be-
window looking sad.
Yes, you
Could
can
be.
do that.
So
And
it'll
cold.
be open 6 to 8. We'll finish out our regular first Thursday, but you can see that when you have the center third of the gallery is the runway.
Yeah.
And so you just need that space.
Oh yeah.
But it's a long space. It's almost 65 feet long. The building's 20 wide internally. So I think it'll work. I mean,
Oh,
as
it will
they were-
definitely work. We
it'll work.
did it last
Oh,
night.
yeah.
We ran through it, and I just think it's the coolest thing because 99% of the models are from Chihuahua, and so it's really fun to have the community so involved in it and to be able to watch your neighbors, strutting down the runway with some of these incredible creations on them. And people are all different, shapes and sizes, and it's really going to be a lot of fun for people to see all the models up there.
we've got
I heard-
Colville, Chihuahua, Spokane, models.
Oh, yeah.
They're modeling, and
I heard our friend Mitch is modeling.
Mitch is
You
Which
know
is-
Mitch?
which is incredible.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He came with his girlfriend Leslie, and I said, "Hey, Mitch, how about you model this jacket?" And
Well, he's kind
he
of a
was
silver
game.
fox,
Yeah,
He-
he's
I-
going to
he'll
wear one of
totally
his
pull it off.
berets, and he's going to look hot.
Oh yeah, I bet he
Yeah.
will. He's got the mustache and everything. Oh, he's gonna look good.
It's just it's a very fun. I mean, when I just look at the show, it makes me smile.
Oh yeah.
But I could just visualize it. People trying stuff on, and it's fun.
Oh yeah. So Barbara, have you ever done anything like this in conjunction with the paintings before? I'm assuming you've done fashion shows. but-
I've done a few fashion shows, and I did one, as Tim mentioned, in a gallery, and there were paintings in the background, but they had nothing to do with the fashion.
Yeah.
It just was the setting. It was a fundraiser, and a gallery is a beautiful place to do a fashion show. The lighting is so
yeah.
good, and there is a real warmth about walking through a gallery full of beautiful art that just adds to the ambiance. So this is the first time I've done a collaboration like this, and I am so grateful to Melissa for thinking up the idea and to Tim for saying yes. Because it's just very exciting for me to be able to do this.
That is great. So, Melissa, it was your idea.
It was my
It was.
idea. It was my idea.
That's great.
And I think, I have been making art for a long time, and it adds a lot of energy to my own artwork to have something like this. I don't love to do themed shows that much, but this was a different way to create new work and to look at different kinds of designs, and it just added a lot of energy to work with Barbara and figure out new ways to paint and create.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've never seen a fashion show with the art that matches the fashion and a collaborative effort like this. I think it's super. It's incredible. It's so unique and such an original idea concept behind it. So I'm glad you guys are bringing it to Chewelah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are too.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. I think it's, I don't know that there's ever been a show like this in this town. I'm going to guess not. It does strike me that it's probably a lot like theater, with that interaction and the crowd and everything. So we go to the shows here in town, and I just think it's going to be a hit with.
Oh, I know it will be
with everybody.
I think Tim's idea of having the models be local was brilliant. I mean, it really brings the community together. And it was so interesting for me because I had each model come to my studio and get fitted, figure out what they're going to wear and what they're going to wear under it, what kind of shoes, all of that. And in the process, I got to know them a little bit. And I just got this wonderful sort of amalgamation of Chewelah. They're the people that work at the DNR, the biologists, the accountants. They're the retired teachers. There are the makers, the ceramicists. There are the painters. There are, let's see, what else? I mean, it was fascinating to meet all these women that for such a tiny community, this area is really rich with interesting people.
And that credit really goes to my wife. That was her mission to populate the model group.
Well, she's good at finding people for stuff, and
you
can't say no to Nandis, so there's that.
Yeah, and I just knew that she would have a lot of fun with it herself, but she knows a lot of people.
But Nandis isn't one of those people that you're afraid to say no, or you begrudgingly say yes. Nandis is somebody that you want to say yes to, because everybody loves Nandis. She's a great person, and she's really done a ton for the artist community here.
Yeah, she has. She kind of dialed in your spotlight gallery stuff.
Absolutely.
She's probably going to take her foot off the gas of that a little bit next
year
when she takes over Trails in Gallery.
You've been waiting for her to retire to come spend more time in the
Well,
gallery.
I mean, when you look at the gallery, you can see how much work it requires.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
At this point, a new show comes in, taking the old one down, working with the artist, keeping, then, it's like touching a mobile. The whole thing moves.
Oh,
You end up, repositioning 25% of the art, which is a good thing. I think it keeps it fresh and everything. But it's a lot of work too, really. I mean, at this point, it's not a lot of work to get a show, to kind of identify. And artists are great about referring artists. I got in contact with Melissa because of, remember, Jackie Brewer or Jacqueline McDermott. She goes, hey, I told that you really should get a hold of this, Melissa Cole.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, well. So I looked up your work. I said, "Oh, I like her work," And then I think I called you, and then she was coming up to town for something and brought some pieces, and there we went.
Outstanding.
And then, Melissa made contact with Rick Jandro for me. I really wanted to meet him, and he was on my list as an artist to connect with, and that went well. Sadly, he passed, a couple years ago, but had two nice shows with Rick, and I really like it where a friend of mine, Dave Anderson, you remember Dave, said that taught gallery management, and Nandis took gallery management at Clackamas Community College. He said, ideally you want about 2 years of separation between shows, minimum.
Right.
So I've kind of held to that, like 2 to 3 year thing. And so these artists that you have, they really become, Melissa's work is collectible. People who've bought before, collect her work.
Yeah.
And people who will buy a garment will more than likely buy another
true.
one.
It's
true.
true.
I mean,
Yeah.
they come in for jewelry, they come in for ceramic. So it's really fun, that interaction of people developing a taste for a certain artist, and then they come in. Oh, you got any work by? Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, I really hope to see some of the pieces and the clothing go together. I think that would be fantastic.
We do too.
That would be pretty fun.
Keep them together.
Me too. We're very dangerous friends, actually, because yes, we've done some trades, and we also just purchase each other's work. So she has many of my paintings, and I have many of her coats.
So the coat are you wearing now? Is this one that you already own?
My husband bought it for me for my birthday.
Nice.
Yes, I know.
That's incredible. So Tim, you mentioned a little bit about being a lot of work, moving all those paintings. I know I've got paintings that I've in my living room that I've sat and looked at for 5 years, and thought, oh, I want to rearrange these at some point. And I can't imagine. To me, that's I start getting anxiety and the cold sweats just thinking about moving my stuff around on my walls, and I can imagine doing that all the time.
Well, what I realize is it occupies a much bigger space in my brain, and my personal jewelry work can suffer a bit from it, but I'm wearing a lot of hats right now,
right,
and so that's where and Nandis and I work really well together, on a project and things, and it'll be nice just stepping back and letting it's hanging a show. Usually it's just me hanging the show.
Right.
And it's different if she, we'll make different choices and things, but it'll be kind of fun to, I did, I was looking at a wall and going, thinking to myself, I wouldn't have hung that way, But I thought, well, don't, go on to something else, But it was fun. I came in the next day because I think she wanted me to, and I just kind of went around and trued things up, but I didn't alter the way anything was set, and do all the tagging. All that stuff takes time.
Oh, I can imagine.
It'll really be nice to have help. It's energizing, I will say that. I love art. We collect art. I like dealing with artists, and it's exciting. Every show has a different flavor.
Oh yeah.
But I gotta say, this is probably one of the best shows in terms of it's just got this. It's so vibrant. There's just a lot going on, and then add the fashion show to the mix. Be one thing just hanging it and showing it, but to put together the fashion show and all that's taken from the models and the artists and, all that work, much less rehearsing. And
oh, yeah.
It was really fun, though. It was fun.
Oh, I can imagine. So you guys did your rehearsals last night?
We did our rehearsals last night. It was great because no one had modeled before. Only a few people had. And so you had to figure out people's personalities and match them up with, the coats. Barbara did an amazing job, giving people. And most of the models are modeling 2 and 3 coats. And so after they do one walk, they come back and they have to change into a different one. So it was really fun because people were a little, nervous and stiff at first. And some people had actually studied Project Runway and things like that. So they were practicing new ways of walking or high-heeled shoes and that kind of thing. But they really got into it once the music got going, and we figured out where to do our turns and what looked good. And it's, I think, really fun for me to see models who haven't modeled before, because because they have personalities and it's fun for them.
So I watched a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race. Would that have helped me in this one? Probably not.
Well, maybe that's a new event for PACA or
Right?
something. You know, I don't think that'll be happening in the gallery, but yeah, but it's fun. It's be exciting. Their art talk tonight. I love art talks. If you want to connect with your audience, you know, with your art, it's so nice to give them the narrative.
It
When
is.
the artist gives the narrative, people come in and they're more, it's that connection. There's an energy connection.
Absolutely.
And I think it stimulates, you know, wanting to have a piece of that, or at the very least, to come in and see it now that they've heard about it. You know, it's a
Right.
process of education too.
Well, we talk about this a lot, about that connection with the artist. When you meet the artist and you hear their story, it makes you look at the work completely differently, and you see different things in the work that you might not have noticed without it, and it becomes less of like an abstract piece on the wall and more of a personal experience. And then if you bring that home and have that on your wall, you have that personal connection with that artist that you don't have without being able to meet them first.
Well, I think it's fun because I think you still, even if you hear their narrative, you're still going to have your subjective experience
right.
of relating to it. But I just think it makes it more interesting, you know, to hear what the artist's intent was. And that doesn't mean that every little line they did was intentional, because
Right.
I'm going to guess that a lot of art it's subliminal at times, you know, and you know, and I think the more I can only guess, like if you were painting 30, 40 years, you're going to make choices
Right.
consciously or unconsciously.
Well, and I think that subjective experience is enhanced by meeting the artist, because then you can sort of, you know, you can sort of put your own spin on those connections and what you hear from the work. So
Absolutely.
It's been really helpful for me to hear other artists talk about their work,
Yeah.
because obviously everybody has their own type of, you know, style that they're interested in. I mean, there's some types of artwork that I'm more drawn to than others, and that's how it is for everybody. But hearing somebody's narrative and the way that they were raised and what influences their artwork makes me see their artwork in a whole different way, and it's just interesting. Whether I'm going to collect that piece or not, it gives more meaning to that artwork.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So again, let's talk about the art talk tonight. So that's happening at the brewery. Tell us time and place for that.
Well, the doors open, I think they usually open up about 6:15. I roll in there about 6:15 and just make sure the screen and projector and everything's good to go. The artists, you come in around 6:30. We wait till the brewery kind of fills up. You know, by a little before 7, if there's still headlights streaming into the parking, then we
Yeah.
wait till, when there's a lull, then we start. We dim the lights, and we get to it.
Outstanding. So then tomorrow, the Art Walk is the fashion show itself starts at 5 p.m. on the dot.
We open the doors for that. Everyone's going to come in at 4:15, but we're going to keep the doors closed so for our own organization purposes and getting dressed and everything they're going to do. I don't want a bunch of people milling around then. And if they need to run through one more time, that they have that time to do that.
Right.
You know, we can do our music check and PA system check and everything else, and the videographer, get them in place. So we open the door at 5, and I've got my list of people, and so we get them in, and I've personally responded to everyone who requested, a place and said, you need to be there 5 or just a little after. I said, we'll get in, we'll get settled, and the show should start no later than 5:30. And then when it's over, it's only going to be 15, 20 minutes tops. And when it's over, then, we'll put some things away. I'll move your rope things.
Yeah.
That, and, we'll just get things straightened up. We'll have to hang some of the mannequins. You know, put some of the clothing back on the mannequins.
Put Mitch on display.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
get him up there. That would be good. That would be
Just
good.
stay there. Just
But
don't move.
so-
No,
I-
the models are going to be interacting with the guests when the show's over.
Oh, very
They're
good.
going to be wearing their last coats and encouraging the guests to try on the coats they modeled, plus some extras we have.
Well, that was actually one question I had. You know, I noticed the luxurious fabrics, the beautiful fabrics. Will we be allowed to? Are you okay with people like touching them and touching the fabrics and feeling them?
I think so. I
Yeah.
mean, I think you have to touch them. And in fact, if you're really thinking about investing in a piece, you need to try it on. You
True.
need to see what it
Oh,
feels like to
absolutely.
slip your arms down that sleeve, how it fits, how it moves when you move. So there's no way around touching, and it's not just a visual thing.
That's
When
right.
we
I mean,
move the full-length mirror out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
you know, we just have to do that stuff. But we will, hopefully, doors will go open at 6 to the general First Thursday Art Walk goers, and we'll go till 8.
Outstanding.
Yeah, like
Outstanding.
normal.
Well, I'm really looking forward to this one. So tell us what else around town. Are there other places participating other than
Got
the
Chris Leewalder is at the Yale Press.
Okay.
We've got Susan Pedersen and William Staudenross are at the Spotlight Gallery,
Yep.
which is just a few doors down from us. And then we've got some updated work, I believe, by Nancy Bloom that'll be at the brewery.
Outstanding. So William Staudenross, he's going to be at the Spotlight Gathering. I'm reading his description here. So it says that he's fine art paintings in multiple mediums with gift cards and seed packets. Now we were talking about that on the morning show. Is I've seen people actually incorporate seed packets into artwork, or seeds into the artwork, where the artwork itself is actually plantable. I'm wondering if he's incorporating any of that stuff, or
I couldn't tell you.
come to the Spotlight Gallery and
I
find
have
out for
to
yourself.
focus on Trails End Gallery.
No, that's fair.
So,
That's fair.
but it's fun to see that there's other things going.
Yeah, and it does say so on the posters for the Spotlight Gallery. It says 6 to 8 p.m. I do know that that was moved up a little bit from where we normally would do it because we didn't want to take away from the fashion show.
I don't think it would have taken away because you would have, we have our 85 people regardless.
True.
So that's its own self-contained.
I think some
show.
people helping out with the Spotlight Gallery wanted to watch the fashion show.
Well, that's true. One of the artists. I mean, Susan Pedersen's on the list.
Yeah.
Susan and Wayne.
Yeah.
And so.
So yeah, that's incredible. But we will be. It says 6 p.m. But as soon as that fashion show is open, we'll be opening the doors and having that Spotlight Gallery open over there at the Aaron Huff Memorial Center.
I
So-
think they're going to do the same at the Yale Press
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the Yale Press is open later for the art walk, and they'll be
Yeah.
serving coffee, and then of course the brewery's over there serving the beer and everything the brewery serves. So looking forward to that, and I want to thank you guys again for coming on today.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Do you guys have
Thanks
any
for
other
having us.
things we missed, or any other parting words you want to tell the people listening?
I just hope people come and look and touch and try on and enjoy.
Oh, absolutely. And I know the weather out there isn't the greatest, but you know what? That's why these things are indoors.
Yep.
So, and-
it's a cozy time. These coats are amazing. They've got pockets and wool, and they're
yeah.
perfect for this time of year. And I think it's a really special show that you're not going to see very often. So we're excited to start it here in Chewelah.
Oh, absolutely. And that was my thoughts exactly with the weather. Is what a better time actually than to be displaying coats.
This was the
Coat
perfect.
season,
I
yeah.
think
It
you
really
chose
is.
that. They chose the month. They had their choice, and November, December, I think, is just perfect.
Coat season
we're-
and holiday season.
Yes, coming into
Oh,
the
absolutely.
festive season, and I guarantee you, my wife has a couple of these, a coat and a jacket already, and she has worn both. I'm sure she'll wear one tonight, and they're beautiful. They're really
Oh, yeah.
beautiful.
I'm really impressed. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. So
Thank you very much.
I'm really looking forward to see the rest and seeing the art show and being out and about tomorrow night.
We'll look forward to seeing you
Yeah,
too.
yeah, absolutely. So Tim, any other parting words from you?
Thank you, as always,
You're welcome. You're
for
welcome.
supporting the arts. These talks are fantastic.
They really are. I love these. I love these talks. They're sort of the highlight of my month. All right, so I want to thank everyone out there for listening to KCHW 102.7 About the Arts. Once again, this is for the first Thursday Art Walk happening tomorrow from 5 to 8 p.m. downtown Chewelah. Check it out. We're all going to be out there. You can come by. I'll be at the Aaron Huff Memorial Center. You come say hi to me. Of course, meet these wonderful, lovely artists over there and check out their work. And you can tune in right here tonight on KCHW from 6 to 8 p.m. with Music for the Mountain. 8 to 10 p.m., we have Dirt Road Blues with our very own Dirt Road Doug McQuain live in the studio. Then from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., we have Planetary Radio, Sea Change Radio, Echo Shock, Total, and Earth Date. And you can join us tomorrow morning on the KCHW Morning Show with myself, Gina Greenwood. And our very special guest is actually going to be one of the artists showing at the Aaron Huff Center for the Spotlight Gallery. Susan Pedersen is going to be joining us on the show, and she's a good friend of mine, and really fun to have her in here.
Great.
Really looking forward to that. So once again, thank you guys so much. Thank you for
you.
listening to
Thank you.
KCHW 102.7. This has been About the Arts. You guys have a great night.
Thanks. Good to
Programming brought to you by Ryan Moore, your Edward Jones financial advisor in Deer Park, Washington.
I forgot something here. We gotta
Edward
do this.
Jones,
We gotta do
member
this.
SIPC.
We got to get us back to our regular scheduled programming.
And now we return you to our regular scheduled program in progress.
Programming on KCHW is made possible in part by listeners like you and by
Fired Up Pizza. Fired Up Pizza, located at 206 East Main Avenue in downtown Chewelah, offers craft beverages and brick oven fired pizza, including a variety of sandwiches, salads, pasta,